and then going to all the other regions. This event will be held in the Laboni Secondary School. So when we asked and we were told that that part of Accra comes under your direct jurisdiction, it would be wrong for us to go into the school to impact these 200 girls from SHS without paying a courtesy call on you.
I heartily welcome all of you, and rest assured that I'll give you my fullest support and cooperation. Andre said it, that when you train a man, it's just one man affair. But when you train a woman, you have trained a whole institution. I'm happy that this work is starting from my kingdom, La.
And we are happy that you have accepted to have us. We understand that you are extremely busy and your time, there's a lot of demand on your time. However, this project we're doing, which is the Story of Our Lives project, was birthed from the opportunity that I was given to be the physician to a sitting head of state of this country, His Excellency John Ejekum Kufuor, during his term of office. And it was the first time in the history of this country that a woman...
That's my friend. It's my friend.
Yes.
It's
your friend. I was happy about that. So I served as his physician for the time he was in office, and because it was the first time a woman had done it, I thought after I left, or he left office, I still look after him, but after he left office, I really thought that I need to impact the girl child. Most of the time we have projects and role modeling concepts that are foreign to us, but this one we want it to be local and we want it to be as practical as possible. So all these, or most of these nice ladies you see here, who I'll be introducing later, are people who have offered their time to be able to impact these girls, and the girls are at SHS level, and we are seeing 200 girls per region. I'm doing this in collaboration with the Girls Education Unit of the Ghana Education Service. And this program was launched on the 15th of last month by Her Excellency Matilda Misasa, and was chaired by Honorable Nanoye Lisa. and had quite a few dignitaries in attendance, especially people from the Ghana Education Service. So so far it's been good. However, coming to your region, it would have been wrong if we come into the region to speak to these girls. The program is going to be at Laboni Secondary Senior High School tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And it would have been wrong for us to go into the program without doing the culturally and traditionally acceptable thing by paying a courtesy call on you to let you know that we are in your region. Your region is the first region that we're doing, and we're pleased to be here. So we thought that we needed to just pay a quick courtesy call on you, not take up too much of your time.
So that you'll be protected.
Yes, that's for sure. We also can't come here without your protection. So we are glad that we're here, and that's why we are here, sir.
Anyway, I think you're on the right track.
Okay.
I'm saying that because through your gestures and the move alone, and at the level where you want to tackle the girls, it's as if you are very, very intelligent people. Because everything is about intelligence and being smart. That's where the children go wayward. And if you don't get them at that level, they have that level, there's nothing you can do about that. Because when I went to Sunday school at the age of 14, from 1, I was being received by friends to learn how to smoke weed. At that age, so vulnerable. 14 years old, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And at that age, 14, I was able to stand on my feet to say no to drugs. Without the pressure, I was sent to the beach. And there were many, all of them had the same understanding. They had their weed and everything with them. One thinking, I stood among them and I said, no, for this one, I want you to do it. But I heard from home that when you smoke in your hand, you go crazy. And I wouldn't like to be a bad man on the street. No. So the next time when they were going, they didn't call me. That was the end. So if you don't get the children now at that level, there's nothing we can do about it. And this tells me like this. You are very intelligent people. Yes. I don't have a doubt at all on mind that you are intelligent.
Thank you, sir.
And I applaud you for that.
Thank you, sir.
I'll give you all the support that I can, so long as I live.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I'm going to be your MC. My name is Reverend Mrs. Hannah Ojegba Buchi. So to get started, we are in somebody's house and we need to be welcomed very well. So the headmistress of this place is Madam Kate Barnaban, but she has asked her assistant to be the one to give the welcome address. So let us welcome Madam Ifua Achiampong.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The Regional Director of Education's representative, officers from the Regional Education Directorate, officers from the District Education Office, teachers, students, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the school board, the headmistress, staff and students, it is a great pleasure and privilege for me to welcome you all to Laboni Senior High School on the occasion of a role model outreach program, a collaboration of Girls Education Unit of the Regional Educational Directorate and an NGO, Memphis Foundation. Special welcome goes to the officers from all the educational offices, especially the Regional Director of Education's representative. If my memory serves me right, Labone Senior High has over the years hosted several programs for the Regional Education Girls Unit. To host this all-important program today can be described as homecoming. Therefore, permit me to once again say a big welcome home. To those of you who are coming to Labone for the first time, you are also welcome. Feel at home, because Labone Senior High happy to see people sacrificing for the nation, especially for girls and women who are vulnerable in the society. It simply demonstrates that girls and women are equally important in nation building. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to alter the popular saying of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to suit this occasion. The empowerment of women will be meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of girls in schools in Ghana. It is therefore appropriate that from time to time we bring girls together and equip them to become more assertive in whatever they do. We cannot wait for government alone to address issues of girls. The story of Our Lives project by Mainfield Foundation is a laudable one, and we all have to work towards its sustenance and success. Once again, I welcome you all to Labone Senior High. I wish you all a fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
The press, ladies and gentlemen, and my students, it gives me pleasure to share a few thoughts with you on this August occasion. To be a role model means being an example to others to follow, hence leading a kind of life that inspires others. Life itself is a journey, and as we journey through life, we leave our footprints, indelible footprints as it were. The question therefore is, do these footprints we leave behind create positive and lasting impressions on the minds of others? My dear students, sometimes in life everyone has role models and you look up to them for different reasons. You may look up to your father, mother, uncle, a significant adult, or sometimes even your own mates, because their behavior, speech, values, and everything would be different with you. They are your role models because they help you to get through life and they teach you a lot of things. They have their views or philosophies on life and in general. And you listen because they are older and they have done it before or they've been there. They inspire us in different ways and we learn a great deal from them about life and stuff. They challenge us to reach our destination. Sometimes others are role models because they always correct about anything and judge any situation wisely. My dear students, can the same thing be said of us? I urge you to see life also as a storybook. We all know what we do with storybooks, so our story will be read someday. Will these stories inspire others? Can we become role models to others? I therefore encourage you to live life to the fullest, be assertive, hold on to that which is good and cherished, achieve your goal, maintain a good conscience, and affect the life of somebody, and never live in the shadow of anyone. There's nothing more rewarding, refreshing, or long-lasting than making a positive difference in the life of others. So I am challenging you to write your own success story. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was just telling your assistant headmistress, Auntie Efua, I said I am so impressed with Labone Senior High. You have impressed us so much. This whole setup was done by you. We didn't come to do anything. And the choir is fantastic. The reception has been excellent. I mean, as soon as we came, all the mentors came. They all came. Your assistant headmistress, assistant headmaster came to welcome us, and we are indeed touched. I have a personal story with your headmistress, but then unfortunately she's not here. I've left my card, and she's somebody who is very passionate about what we're doing. She was actually at the launch of the project a couple of weeks ago at the African Regent Hotel. I don't know whether your head girl is here. Is the head girl here? Okay. Were you the one who came with her? Right. So we launched the project, and it was launched by the wife of the Vice President, Her Excellency Matilda Misarta. And your headmistress was there. She was very pleased with the event. And I'm not surprised that you are all here to listen to what we have to say. Please, if somebody beside you is sleeping, pinch them, nudge them, come and report them to the assistant head. And please don't hit them too hard. If you hit them too hard, there'll be a problem. They'll start fighting with you. But anyway, regional directors, representatives, she's left at the moment. Director of Girls Education Unit, Ghana Education Service. All girls education officers here present, fellow mentors, assistant headmistress, Auntie Efua Achampong, students, ladies and gentlemen. Memphis Foundation was established to fulfill a promise I had made to myself in the year 2008. From 2004 to 2009, I was given the rare opportunity to serve in the esteemed capacity as the first ever female to be appointed physician to a sitting head of state of the Republic of Ghana, at the time His Excellency John Ejekum Kufuor. Over the years of service, I was convinced that soon after my service to the state, I would like to impact the youth with emphasis on the girl child, which has been my pet subject for a long time. I had a mentor, father, friend, and confidant, the late Professor J.O. Mpobi. He was a consultant cardiologist, and he encouraged me to chronicle events of the period of my service with the intention of writing a book to enable the generation after me to benefit from my experiences and challenges. What sound advice that was, and I heeded to his advice. I launched the book, The President's Physician. I don't know whether some of you have heard about the book, in May 2014, and have subsequently sold about 3,000 books nationwide and beyond. I was further encouraged by those who attended the launch to go further and make a greater impact. Earlier this year, 2015, the dream of establishing a vehicle through which I could reach the youth in Ghana and Africa became a reality. I established the Memphis Foundation, which simply stands for Mentoring for Youth Development. This project, the story of our lives, is one of our maiden projects, and it is quite simply women mentoring young adolescent females in the senior high schools nationwide. Our mentors are all high achievers from all facets of our society, this time not only from the traditional professions, but from all different professions. We have people from the media, we have people from the Beauticians Association, and we have people from the dressmaking industry. So it's not the normal doctor, lawyer, pharmacist, finance person. Our style of mentoring is also real, it is practical, it is graphic, and will take the form of a heart-to-heart chat with our young friends to drum home the fact that through all the challenges we have encountered as young adolescent females, we have made strides in our fields of endeavor. The women who will be seeking to speak to us all today share common cultural, traditional, and social backgrounds with our mentees, and the young women are bound to relate to one experience or another. These are women whose success is obvious, but their challenges are concealed until we bring them to the fore, the lessons learned, will not be made evident. That is why we are all here today, to bear out our hearts and share with all of you the story of our lives. The segment on adolescent sexual reproductive health will be very informative, graphic, and real. We are here to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. On behalf of the Memphis Foundation, I would like to pour out a heart full of gratitude to the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service through the Girls Education Unit, who are our invaluable collaborators for the project. We'll also like to say a very big thank you to Laboni Senior High School for being our host for this particular event. Also of utmost importance is the acknowledgement of our sponsors for this event, without who this noble idea will not have come to fruition and would not have left the drawing board. Please come with me on the journey of the story of our lives. I thank you. I'm going to start with the story of my own life. I've already said to you that our successes are obvious. If they say, oh, Dr. Anda is former President Kufuor's doctor, everybody's like, the girls are excited. This woman, she's like this. They tell you, oh, Lady Gifty Tete, she's an astute lawyer here, and in the United Kingdom, it's like, I want to be a lawyer. And then they tell you, Auntie Aisatu, who comes originally from Senegal, she's heading this big Mandela Washington Fellowship. Very exciting. All of us here are people in our own right. We have achieved CEOs of companies, Patholab Solutions, and we have Auntie Jemima as well, who is a lecturer. She's a PhD, meaning she's a doctor of, not medical like me, but doctor in the university. So to be a doctor in the university for somebody like her, you can imagine, all our successes are very obvious. But what is not obvious is the challenges that we face as children. I'll share just 2 or 3 challenges that I faced as a young girl like you. The first one, and when I finish, I'll ask you which of you is facing that kind of challenge. Don't be embarrassed. That's why we don't have too many people here breathing down our necks. We told you just bring 1 or 2 teachers, and after a while we'll let all these people go, and it will just be you and us. So you can tell us something. You have to be confident. You have to open up. Okay? So this won't make you sleep. I'm telling you the story of my life. When I was young, I was compared to my sister. My sister, I come from a family of 5 of us, and I'm the youngest. And the lady before me, who is now a physician specialist in the United States, she was near perfect. And when I say near perfect, I mean near perfect. My sister would lay her bed, she would wash her things, she would iron, she would be polite, she always looked neat. I mean, she was near perfect, very, very nice. And then immediately after her came myself. My mother always said that I was too much trouble, because lay your bed, oh mommy, I'm coming, I'm going to check something, I'll be back. Why is your hair like this? Why can't you do this? Why aren't you like your sister? Why can't you be neat? Why can't you do this? But at the time, I thought my mother was cruel. I thought she was not kind. I thought she was, but what I realized as I grew up was that the things she was teaching me were to pick the good things about my sister. My sister was very shy. I wasn't. So that was one good side of me. My sister was very, very much of an introvert. She won't chat with anybody. In fact, when you see her, you will call her a snob, because she'll walk in here, there are people here, and she'll just say good morning, good afternoon, and go and sit in a little corner. I wasn't like that. So the challenges that I had, she didn't have. The challenges that she had, I didn't have. We were 2 completely different people. But my mother kept on comparing the 2 of us. And I kept on thinking that my mother thought that I was not good enough, but she was. But it wasn't the case at all. But you know what that did? That enabled me to be like my sister. When I see her laying her bed, because I want my mother to also compliment me, I run and I go and lay my bed. I have 2 daughters who are like you. I have a daughter who is in Form 5, which is now I think SS1, or yes, SS1, SS2. And my daughters think I'm terrible because they keep saying, hey, mommy, it's too much. You should lay our bed. We should do this. Every day we should do this. And we have people here who are supposed to help us. But I tell them that the way I was brought up, if I didn't do what my mother had said that I should do, and the good things that my sister was doing, if I didn't follow them, I wouldn't be where I am today. I find myself doing the same thing to my 2 children. One of them is a little quiet, walks into a place, oh hi, and will carry on. But you go to her room, and if she has arranged her things, and you move one out of line, she will call you and say, mommy, when you came, my shoes, because I borrow her shoes sometimes, my shoes that you borrowed were here. When you came, you put them somewhere else. Mommy, please, next time, when you come, please put my shoes. This is my daughter. And she reminds me so much of my sister. But the second one, oh, she's a complete replica of myself. She will talk to everybody in this room. Some of them know her. She will talk to everybody in this room when she gets in here. Oh, hello, oh, hi. And she's the younger one. Everybody sees her, everybody knows her. So everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses. When your weaknesses are being pointed out to you, don't think that somebody is picking on you. Don't think that somebody doesn't like you. That was one of my challenges when I was young. Then I went to Achimota School. When I was in my primary school, I thought, oh, first 3 in the class, my name is there. When it's speech day, they'll call. Bettina Bohine achievement. Bettina Bohine this. Bettina Bohine history. So by the time I'm taking my prize to give to my parents, they've called me again. So here was I thinking that I was all that in Bishop Bowen's school. Then I arrived in Achimota School, where everybody was all that, because all of them had come from top schools, and they were top people who had also been picked to come and represent their schools in Achimota School. So now it was Clash of the Titans. Everybody is bright. So when I went initially, I was about 10. The next thing I knew, I'm 12. Then dropping 15. And I was so shattered. My confidence was shattered. I was wondering, I said, am I not good enough? Am I not intelligent enough? Why are they picking on me? Why is it that I'm not able to achieve? However, I decided, by the time I was in Form 2, which is now I think JHS 2, I had decided that nobody could challenge me. I have to make sure, because I'm taking that report card home, and my parents know what I'm capable of doing. And therefore, I picked up the pieces, and I was from a mixed school as well. Those of you who are from a mixed school, you know. The boys can stay up till 2 a.m. in the morning to learn, by which time some of us girls will be fast asleep. And then the boys as well, they don't bicker. They are not, you know, they have a problem with somebody. They talk when they finish. Yeah, shall I see you? I mean, the thing is sorted. There's no problem. I mean, we the girls, your friend is not talking to you. You are emotional. You are crying. And my daughter does it all the time. Mommy, I can't understand this girl. And the way I am with her. And the way we are close. I said, Madam, you went to the school by yourself. You didn't go with that girl. So leave her to do what she wants to do. And you carry on. Those are the problems I also face. But after a while I sat up, I said, no, I can't let the whole world overtake me and let me slow down academically, socially, and all that. So by Form 3, I picked up the pieces. Form 5, did very well in my O-levels, went abroad for 6th form. Abroad, here I was, Ghanaian girl. I'd been traveling a lot because my parents used to travel. So I'd been to the UK several times, but I'd never lived there. That's another challenge I faced. Then I was thrown to the boarding school, all the way in a place called Yorkshire. When you go and look on your map. In the UK, Yorkshire is not London. Yorkshire is, I had to take a train and take a bus before I get to my school. I arrived at the school and there were young ladies like you, from 3, from 4, I was here, lower 6, thinking that, oh, everything is fine. Then these girls saw me, hi. I thought, am I in the right place? Then afterwards, I went to look on the board and they said, I am their prefect. I said, I don't know these girls, how can I be their prefect? And I don't even know their culture, I don't know them socially. I mean, I'm supposed to be a leader for them. That was another challenge. But there was no way. I couldn't go and tell the headmistress that she had given me such a great position as being the prefect for that house. It was called St. Francis House. And I'll tell her that, oh, no, I don't think I can do it. That can-do spirit came straight up, and I decided that I will be the prefect with a difference. Because most of the time the prefects were from within. But I had come all the way from Ghana. 6.5 hours flight, 3 hours on the train, another 2 hours on the bus to take me to Yorkshire, and I was going to be the house prefect for St. Francis House. Took up the challenge, I did it, and by the time I was leaving, there were very few of us black people there, or Africans. There were some from Ghana, a couple from Nigeria. By the time I left, the lady, the headmistress, she was retiring, and she said to me, if you have daughters in future, make sure they come to St. Hilda's School. Unfortunately, the school has been closed down. It's a Church of England school and it has been closed down. But I just met that challenge. Initially, I was my confidence was a little, shaky. I met the challenge and I carried on with it. Then come medical school. A lot of you running, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to go to medical school. Same thing. Did my O-levels, did my A-levels, did well, got into medical school, came back from London, came and did my medical school here in Ghana, University of Ghana Medical School. It was tough. I mean, I thought that it was bad in Achimota School, but this one, because out of the interview, they interviewed almost 200 of us, and they only picked 60. So you can imagine, these were 200 of the best, and the 60 were the best of the best. So depending on where you fit in, you just slot in. First year, tough, but I did it. Second year, I got ill for 1 month. I went to stay at home. In medical school, if you miss 1 day, you might as well sit at home and sleep, because the number of lecture notes you have to catch up on, you have no idea. But 1 month I was at home with enteric fever, typhoid. And by the time I came back, I went to the dean very confidently and told him, I cannot write. The MB2 exam, the second year's exam, is the most difficult exam of medical school. And I'd been home for a month. I said to him, I can't write this exam. He said, you will write it. I said, no, I won't write it. I would wait and write it when there's the referral. So he said, if you write it at the second chance, that's your last chance. If you fail it, you repeat. My home. My father never repeated an exam. My sister ahead of me, repeating. It didn't even exist in our vocabulary. And I took the chance. I said, I'll write it at the second chance. I wrote it, and lo and behold, I failed. There were 3 papers, and I failed 1 paper. In medical school, if you fail 1 paper out of the 3, you have to repeat. So that big word, repeat, was right ahead of me. And I just didn't know what to do. Got good family support, picked up the pieces, and I said to myself, there is no looking back. I cannot let myself down, and I cannot let my family down, and I cannot let anybody down, but most importantly, myself. So I picked up the pieces. Clinical years, the way I'm talking to you, that is the way you need to be as a doctor. If your patient comes to you and you are sitting down, hello, how are you? How's everything? Okay, all right. By the time the patient leaves, the patient says, who is this doctor? She won't even look at your face. She's not nice. She's like this. So you need social skills to be able to do certain professions. I went to the clinical years, and those social skills for me were no problem at all. So when people, and we had one, this is a funny story, we had a British pediatrician who was teaching us in the clinical years. So when she comes, she'll say, hello, and she doesn't speak very loudly. Hello, how are you? How's everybody? Then the people are asking me, Tina, what did she say? So now, I wasn't the class prefect, but because I was that confident, and she said, come to Tina, come, tell them what I'm trying to explain. I said, yes. But it doesn't mean that if you go and fail the exam, she'll pass you because you are the interpreter. When it comes to the exam, hey, there's no mercy. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. But I gained that confidence. 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year, final year, I wasn't at the top of the class. But then again, I wasn't at the bottom of the class. But because of my social skills and the way I was determined, by the time I finished final year, I was, I was so confident in what I was doing. I was a house officer, 1st year after finishing medical school. And when you come into the emergency room, you think I'm the consultant herself, because the confidence that I was running around with. Then in the end, what happened? I had a family, fantastic family. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is when I became the physician to His Excellency John Kufuor. I'll give you the book, The President's Physician. Each and every single one of you here will get a copy of that book, and I encourage you to read it. My last story, which I faced a lot of challenges. We had a little bit of a problem in this country, May 9th disaster. You remember when there were all these problems at the stadium, and lots of people died. At the time, I was working in Rich Hospital. And most of the patients were coming to Rich, because if you know where the stadium is and where Rich Hospital is. I had broken my leg, so I was at home. I was on leave, on sick leave. Then I heard that there was this stadium disaster. Everybody said, you have to be there. Bettina, come and help us. We need hands. So I just got married to my husband, and I woke him up. I said, KB, I have to go because I have to go and help. He said, oh, you are quarter to one leg. What are you going to do there? Are you a patient or are you a victim or, please. And I said, no, I have to go. And that's my husband, very funny. He said, madam, don't go and give them stress. So your leg, already you can't stand. You are with your POP. I said, no, let me go. So I went. And when I got there, they said some people were ill, so they'll move my chair. I'll sit beside the patient's bed. I'll set up the drip. The drip, you don't need your leg for the drip. You need this and this. So I set up drips. I was doing things. Then I heard a siren. I said, what's going on? They said the president is coming. I said, which president? I mean, for us, we were working. They said the president of Ghana. I said, because I know him. The two families have been friends for a long time. And I said, I haven't seen this man for a long time. Well, since he became president, I haven't seen him. I don't even go to the house. So as soon as I heard him coming, I went to hide behind the wardrobe. There was this big wardrobe there. I went to hide behind there. And those who know President Kufuor know that he's a tall gentleman, came in, going to every bed, greeting everybody, smiling. Then he could feel some movement. I think he felt some movement behind the wardrobe. So he looked behind the wardrobe and said, who is that? So I came, I said, hello, Mr. President. He said, hey, is this you? I haven't seen you for a long time. Where have you been? And he looked at my leg. He said, are you also a patient? Were you at the stadium? And I said, no, I'm working here. He said, of course, you're a doctor. And how's mommy, how's daddy? They were chatting with me. And he left. When he was going, he said, make sure that you pass by the house from time to time. So I did that. I'd been going there, but not often. One day I went there and he said to me, my daughter is taking time off. I said, time off. He said, yes, he's going on study leave. I said, okay, that's nice. I wasn't even thinking that he would say something. He said, okay, so in 2 weeks we are going to the UN General Assembly in the United States. And so tell your husband you'll be going with us for this trip. I said, I was confused. I said, Mr. President, I've just had a child. She's very young. And he said, Mommy is there, isn't she? I said, yes. Your husband is there, isn't he? I said, yes. He said, okay. And I said, so will it just be this trip? Or he said, no. Let them know that now I have to call my people and tell them, look, they'll take all your details on that. I mean, that minute there, it had just happened. I said, no, I have to go and consult and come back to you. He said, who are you going to consult? Your father, your mother? I'll call them. Is it your husband? I'll call him. So Amma, it's done. I don't even know why you're going on about this. That is how it all started. But as a woman amongst many men, I had a lot of problems. Very basic problems like climbing a bus. I'm wearing a skirt like this. The men are wearing their trousers. We are getting into the bus. We are late. The president has taken off. Then now you are pulling up your skirt, and challenges like I can't eat kenke heavy in the morning. The men, kenke. In fact, they eat fufu. When we go to Ashanti region, they have some fufu joints. They're like, hey, doc, aren't you coming? The fufu this morning. I said, fufu in the morning, 8 o'clock. Me, I want my small oats or my tea, and they say, okay, you do tea and stuff. So I drink my tea. By 11 o'clock sharp, then I start being dizzy. We're at the program. I'm hungry. I'm dizzy. Then they're looking at me, doc, are you okay? I said, no, I'm not okay. That Milo and bread didn't. We told you, doc. It's either kenke or fufu, because when you start moving with this man, there's no stopping. President Kufuor can leave at 7 a.m. in the morning. By the time we come back, it is 7 p.m. And if you are unlucky and we go for a program and there's item 13, food, and they say, we've laid the table, and then you look at us, are you people hungry? No, Mr. President, we are fine. The man is not eating. How are you going to say you eat? It's not possible. So, no, Mr. President, we are okay. Then the men, they are smart. They'll grab a bit of rice, a bit of this, and by you, a woman, you're just smiling. So when we get on the bus or in the car, I'm like, the rice, how? They say, hey, dog, but you saw the rice, you didn't pick it. You had have to ask us, So I had my challenges. I missed my children. I missed my husband because I'd left them behind and I had to do this job. But it was a call of duty and I had to fulfill it. So these little challenges, they seem like big challenges to you now. Victimization, sexually sometimes, physically. My mom doesn't like me. My teacher cannot stand me. I cannot do this. Somebody is good in math, I'm not. I'm sick, I'm dumb. Rise above those challenges. This is the story of my life. I'm hoping that at some point you will also be able to share the story of your life to be able to encourage somebody. I thank you for your kind attention.
At a very, very nice price. Yes, will you buy? Yes. So that is a request. We need it, seriously. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are going to have the next presentation. But we are going to see the people who are in the house now. So just when you hear your school, just get up and make some noise. She's the director of Battle Lab Solutions. Or let me call it completely, Battle Lab Solutions Medical Laboratory. A fiction writer for children and young adults. Please join me to welcome Mrs. Baiti Elizabeth.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, students. Good morning, representatives of the Ghana Education Service, the Girls Education Unit, the assistant headmistress and staff of Labone Secondary, teachers from other schools, and my fellow mentors. I'm addressing the girls. Ladies, it's lovely to be here with you this morning. My name is Elizabeth Irene Beatty, and I'm a dreamer. I've been a dreamer since I was a child. I'm still a dreamer. I run a medical laboratory. I'm a clinical biochemist. Basically, it means we run tests to check for health and disease. And in addition to that, I write fiction for children and for young adults, and by young adults, I mean you. I want to share a bit of my life with you, what I dreamt about when I was a child, and what I dream about now. I feel my story is still unfolding. I made mistakes in the past. I still make mistakes. There are things I have learned from, and there are things I'm still learning. So I'm going to tell you what things have been like so far. When I was a child, I loved English lessons. I thought maths was boring. So when my teacher was going on about improper fractions, I would take a trip in my head. In my head, I was in some adventure land far away. During maths, I often had a book open on my lap. I would read, drift, dream about what was going on in the book. Next thing I realized, there'll be a hand on my lap. The teacher has noticed my attention is not there. He's seizing the book, and that's the end of it. My friends stopped lending me their books. They said, if you give Elizabeth Irene your book, she will read it during class, and the teacher will seize it, and that will be the end of it till end of term. You know how when you're young, your friends have got nice things, nice dress, nice shoes, and very often you want to pretend like, oh, I've even noticed your nice dress and nice shoes. But if you had a nice book, I had no pride. I would beg, I would plead, I would grovel until I got the nice book, and I'd read it in class, and the teacher would see it. I used to dream that when I grew up, I would write books for young people. Enid Blyton was, at the time, one of the most prolific children's writers, and I read every book of hers that I could lay my hands on. She often wrote stories that were set in boarding school. So when I was a child, I used to dream a lot about boarding school, how wonderful it would be. The girls in her books always went on picnics, and they played pranks on one another, and they went swimming. And my mother went to Achimota School as well, and she used to tell me how wonderful Achimota was. They had records nights, dancing, swimming, moonlight swimming. And I used to think, oh God, I can't wait to go to Motown, moonlight swimming, records night. Anyway, in our time, secondary school was different from now. We had from 1 to 5, so we left primary school at the age of 11, 12, or 13, and we went to the secondary from 1. We were there for 5 years until we started our O-level at the age of between 16 and 18. And most of us would continue to sixth form, which was a 2-year course. So we would finish sixth form at the age of about 18, 19, or even 20 years old. When it was time for me to go to Achimota School, I packed my trunk in excitement. I entered the school in September 1983 at the age of 13. And I found that there was a swimming pool indeed. But when we went there, it was with buckets to fetch water, for flushing toilets in the house, or for cooking in the dining hall. There was no moonlight swimming. There was scrubbing, there was weeding, there was sweeping. Anyway, I made a lot of good friends, like Dr. Bettina Anga. More than half the students in Achimota School were boys. So boys were a significant part of my life, both in platonic and in romantic relationships. My mother, I dig my mom. She was very frank. She talked to me about boys a lot. And she told me, Baba, boys and boyfriends are a part of growing up. If you have a boyfriend, you are holding hands, you are chatting, exchanging notes, cards, telling each other sweet things, it's fine. Just know that you are a child and there is a boundary that you should not cross. And my mother used to tell me, oh, the boys, I don't even keep one boyfriend for too long. When you're bored with him, just throw him away and find yourself another one. And I thank my mother for that, because she made me, looking back, I realized she didn't want me to attach too much importance to any teenage romance. And she also made me feel that there was nothing wrong. So I could chat with my mother a lot when it came to boys. And I could tell her, oh, mommy, this is my boyfriend. Sometimes she would laugh at me, she would tease me. When I was 15, I had a boyfriend. Hey, my first boyfriend, he had swag. Hey! I used to love English very much. I used to love English. And he was good at English. He used to write poetry, sweet poetry. He would send me roses. He would spray perfume on the roses and send them to me. Anyway, it didn't take too long. By the end of the year, I was bored with his poetry. I was bored with his roses, And then I started going out with another nice guy. But I thought to myself, you know something, we are better off as friends. And to this day, we are the tightest of friends. And then after that, I started going out to this very, very cool boy. But Charlie, in fact, he was too cool. After a while, even maths became more interesting than he was. So. And then soon I was in my 5th year, and it was time for me to do my O-level exam, which was a very, very important exam. I was a busy girl. I was an athlete. I took part in campus life, students' activities, and I was studying. Dr. Bettina and I were always neck and neck when it came to top position for the English prize. And I was naturally good at all my other subjects, but math, this math that had plagued me since I was a child, I got to Achimota School from 1, from 2. Every year, my grades in math took a dip, because when the teacher was going on about whatever topic it was, my mind would be somewhere else dreaming. And I was getting worse and worse in math. I began to tell myself, oh, I'm bad in math, because I wasn't putting in the effort, and I didn't and consequently I didn't understand it. I told myself, oh, I'm naturally not good at math. It was an excuse I was making. I dreamt that I would get a distinction at the O-level exam, but math was a problem. When we did our mock exam, which was about 2 months to the main exam, I failed. I failed my math. It was the first time I had failed. I had gone from just scraping by to failing math. There were 2 months to the final exam, and I'd always been a very good student. So failing math for me in the mock exam, I was quite worried. My mother came to the school, and I told her, showed her my report. She said, hey, Baba, what's happening? Anyway, she went home, and at the time, she had a friend's son living with her. In those days, we used to do national service after sixth form. So her friend's son had finished sixth form. My parents lived in Achimota, and her friend's son lived in Teshinungwa. It was far, coming from Teshinungwa to Achimota School to come and teach as a teaching assistant for his national service was a long distance. So my mother had offered to accommodate him so he could move from my parents' house in Achimota to Achimota School. My mother went home and she showed my report to David. That was his name. She said, David, this is the report she had in math. And he took one look at it and he said, Auntie, I'm going to look for her when I go to school and I'm going to help her. So he came to school, looked for me, and he said, look, I've seen your results. Let's do some work on this. I said, look, Charlie, math, I don't even know what's happening. He said, Baba, we can work on this. So every day I would meet him after school. We would work and work and work. And suddenly all the things which seemed so mysterious and so strange and which I was convinced I would never understand if he gave me £1 million, I suddenly realized I could understand them. So, as far as I was concerned, well, we'll give it a shot. I've done my best. We wrote the O-levels a couple of months later. When the results came, I got A1 in math. This is somebody who had been failing math consistently, who had been doing badly in math and had finally failed her exam before the final O-level. That was when I realized that effort and determination can take you a long way. Effort and determination can take you a long way. I never dreamt that I would get A1 in math, but effort and determination. It also made me realize that when you bless someone, you bless yourself. My mother thought she was doing her friend a favor by saying, oh, let your son come and stay with me to go to Achimota School. Little did she realize that the favor would come to her own daughter. So don't forget, whenever you think you're doing somebody a blessing, that blessing could be coming to you. So I got to sixth form, and in sixth form, I chose to study physics, chemistry, and biology. My teachers were surprised, some of them, because I was naturally very good at the arts. And I was okay in physics, chemistry, and biology, but I had to work hard to do well. But as far as I was concerned, I'm fine. Biology, I was okay. Physics and chemistry, they were challenging, but I knew with work I would be all right. Don't forget, I said sixth form was a 2-year course. We had lower sixth and upper sixth. Lower sixth was sweet lower. That's what we called it. It was sweet. You know, we had been through 5 years. We had done our O-levels, and we had arrived. In Achimota School, when you are a fifth former, you are called a senior. When you get to sixth form, you're a citizen. You're at a different level completely. And I was busy. I went for classes all right because I had to. But then I was busy with the entertainment committee, organizing variety show, Ghana United Nations students, SRC. I was one of those who was involved in everything. And I had a new boy. He was the only one I didn't introduce to my mother because I thought to myself, my mother would say, oh, this one is a bad boy. And it's true, he was a bad boy. He was the sort of boy who would try and convince me, oh, let me come and pick you up, let's go to some nice club somewhere. And I was scared because I hadn't done any of those things before. He kept trying to convince me to do exciting things. The only thing that kept me back was the fear of being suspended or sacked. But I was always tempted. I would sit down and think, oh, maybe I should have gone out to see, it would be nice. I've never been to a nightclub, but fear held me back. And I also thought, what would my mother say? In upper six, I met another guy. He was tall. He was tall. I told you, boys were a big part of my life. He was tall, he was handsome, he was awesome as far as I was concerned. He was an old Motowner. He had finished university and he was coming back to the school to see a friend. When I met him, I set eyes on him. I was like, I'm going to marry this man. I told you I was a dreamer. And so I went back to the dining hall and I told my friends, I've met the man I'm going to marry. When I mentioned his name, one of them said, hey, you know what I mean? That's my sister's boyfriend. And I was like, I beg, just drop me off here. I was just joking. Oh, don't let your sister come and slap me. Anyway, it turned out that this guy didn't have a girlfriend. And I began bumping into him a lot. We quickly became friends. He became my boyfriend, and then I dumped the bad boy. Meanwhile, my A-level exams were around the corner. I was dreaming more than ever. I would sit with an open book while my mind traveled. I was dreaming about how wonderfully well I would do in the A-levels. I was dreaming about becoming a writer in future. I was dreaming about marrying my awesome boyfriend. I was dreaming about running my business, dreaming about everything but actually working, but not actually working. It was soon time to sit my A-level mock exams. The results came. Biology was okay, but physics and chemistry, oh my. I thought to myself, Baba, you have to do something. And I remembered my O-level, failing math, and I thought, well, I failed math, but I ended up getting an A1. So this time around, I should be all right on the night. We wrote our A-level exams, went away on holidays. 3 months later, the results came. When I got my results, I looked at them, and I was like, no. These are not my results. They are not my results. My parents had a look at the results. Biology was fine, I had done all well, but physics and chemistry, my results were so disappointing. I didn't recognize them as my own because I was always somebody, like I said, who had been a good student. And I didn't believe that I had actually gotten such poor results in my A-level exam. I was devastated. I wept and wept. I blamed the examiner. I blamed the sun that day. I blamed the question paper. I blamed my pen. I blamed everything but my failure to stop dreaming and actually work. Anyway, I sat my A-levels again, and happily I got into university to do the course of my choice, biochemistry. By this time, my awesome boyfriend was doing his master's in university, the same university that I was in. So sometimes we used to sit and study together, and I'd look at him, and sometimes I'd catch my mind beginning to drift, and I thought myself, Elizabeth Irene, you will not do this. You will not start dreaming again. Focus on your work. He finished his master's and left, and I was moving into my second year. At the end of my second year, my lecturers called me, and they said, Elizabeth Irene, you've been working very hard. We have looked at your results, and if you continue like this, you are going to be the first student in 10 years in the biochemistry department to graduate with a first class. I thought, oh my. By that time, as you can imagine, to get those grades, I had been working. I began working even harder. I began structuring my day very well. I had been doing this since first year anyway, but now I realized what was at stake. My boyfriend used to come and visit me after work, and because I knew he was coming, I would make time after lectures. I would have a rest, and then I would study. I would study for about 3 hours to make sure that by the time he came to spend a couple of hours with me, I would be all studied up. Anyway, I graduated, and I graduated with a first class. And my degree was in biochemistry with chemistry, the same chemistry that I had done so badly in at A-level. A year later, my boyfriend and I got married. We've been married for we've been married for 20 years now. He's a very good husband. He's a very good husband, and he's an awesome father. We have 3 children. The first is 19, a girl, and then 16. Hey, I'm old, though. Anyway, so I began working. I set up a private medical laboratory, and thank God it was doing well. I can't go into what it took to set up the laboratory because it was a lot, but suffice it to say that it was a lot of prayers, a lot of work, a lot of sweat and panic attacks and anxiety and a lot of miracles, but we'll save that for another day. Meanwhile, work and my family were taking up a lot of my time, but my deepest dream, the dream that I had had since I was a child, that dream has still not yet been realized. I had still not yet written any novels. And there's one thing about dreams, they haunt you. I don't know what dreams you have now, but believe me, whatever you dream of now that you can achieve in future, if you get to a certain point and you haven't done it, the dream still follows you. You still think about it. And the last thing I wanted was to be 80 years old or 90 years old and saying, oh, I wish. I want to live a life where I look back and I feel, I did the best that I could. And I knew that speaking good English was one thing, But writing a story that people would actually want to read and would find interesting was quite another thing altogether. I realized I'd have to learn to write a story. Not just sit down and scribble, but actually learn to write a story. Find the time, put my phone aside. My phone is my best friend. If I was getting married again, my phone would be my maid of honor. But I had to learn, put my phone aside in the evening, all the chit-chat with my friend, make time and do some writing. I had to invest in my writing. So I began getting books that would teach me how to write. And I brought them here because I need you to understand that even though I felt that I was naturally talented, I had to add effort to natural talent. So this is the bag, and I brought it because I wanted you to see. I wrote a story in 2002, and submitted it for the Macmillan Writers' Prize for Africa. It was shortlisted. I wrote another story in 2004. I submitted it for the Macmillan Writers' Prize for Africa that year, and out of 500 submissions from around the world, Essays with Brown Candle was judged the best. That was number one. A few years later, I wrote a novel for young adults. That's the 12 Half. The 12 Half won the best award for African literature. I think you know this book. And then the sequel to that is The Dog Challenge, which also won the best award for African literature. But let me tell you, I need to show you the books that I have that teach me how to write, because I don't want anybody to say, so she's actually good with English and she did this without any hard work. All these are books that I have bought, and they are books that give instructions on how to write. Writing down the road, write away, how to write standard fiction, creative writing, no plot, no problem, successful novel process, writing for press and profit, and on and on and on. I had realized from my O-levels and from my A-levels that whatever talent that you have to invest in it, you have to add effort to it, and that is the only way that you will make it. A writer needs peace to write, and I felt that by this time I would be sitting under a shady tree somewhere with a basket of fruit and cake beside me, writing peacefully. That's not what it's like. I have wahala, I have doomsday, I have traffic, all sorts of things, and yet I still have to find peace to write. And I pray about it. And God said, you know, I will give you peace in your head, peace in your heart, but there will still be wahala in your life, and you will write. And I realized that that's what it's like. You have dreams, and you want the perfect situation to occur so that you can realize your dreams. But the perfect situation never occurs, and you have to strive for your dreams through the chaos of your life. So I'm thankful to God for my dreams. It's a good thing to dream. That's why God gave me an imagination, so that I can dream of what I want to be and what I want to do. But I know that I have to work hard to make those dreams become a reality. So to all the dreamers in this house, I say, dream on, but please add effort to your natural talent. Thank you.
On to the third presentation. She's a barrister, the managing director and partner of both chambers, that is G&D Theatre in UK and Rehoboth Chambers in Ghana. She's a pretty lady. I've not seen her, but the name means that she's pretty, because the name is Lady Gifty Tete Tamaklo. Let's see that with a wonderful clap. Yes, show some love. Lady means lady. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was really, really excellent, and it was inspiring. I just sat there giggling. I think I was laughing most than everyone else here because I could identify with some of the things you were saying. Dreaming is good. I have a book, actually. Before I introduce myself, I have a book where I write everything. I write dreams, I write prophecies, I write encouragement, I write things. When they come through, I go back and I take them as we go along. There are some that are still not being ticked, but I know they will be at some stage. So it's good to dream. Right. Good afternoon. I'd like to say all protocol observed. Okay. Otherwise, I'll have to go through everything all over again. So they've said it all for me. Hey, let's get on with it.
My name is Lady Gifty Tete Tamaklo. Recently added the Tamaklo to it. I think I raised my fourth in children of 9. My parents had 9 children, and I'm number 4. And there are 3 boys before me. So it felt at the time like you were the odd one out. You couldn't play football with them. You couldn't, do the things that they would like because they pair up. So you just an odd number. You're just messing everything up. And they would hang you up on the almond tree to like exercise with everybody else. Sometimes my dad would have to come with a cane. And I used to be very sick and, I don't want to do this and that, and it annoyed everybody. But one thing I liked doing was reading. Like yourself, I'd like to read. I would read anything you put up. I would read the Robert Ludlums. In those days, there were fat books. I would read them and discuss them like you're watching a movie. And I would read the Hadley Chases and all the Mills and Boons. I still have some. But a whole pack of them. I looked at it once and I thought, who paid for these things? So I had to auction them. I'm sure I'll get a lot of money. But I read a whole lot of things. I love to read. But when it comes to math, oh God, it's like somebody hates me. I just don't like it. I'm not sure that because I told myself I didn't like math, that's why I didn't know it, or that actually I didn't know it. I think it would be an injustice to God if I said that I didn't know it, because He created everyone with good wisdom. So it's not fair on Him, but I personally did not like maths, period. But I'll read anything. So went to school, everything, the normal, the usual things. Absent few times due to sickness and stuff, but went to school. And then I had the opportunity to travel to Budapest. And when most people travel, they went to London, or they went to the US, or they went to Berlin and all the first places. I went to Budapest. Yeah. And you'll be thinking, where is that? That's in Eastern Europe. I went to Budapest. I had the opportunity to go and study. But my brothers had gone ahead of me. 2 of my brothers had gone ahead of me, and they were good. The guys are good at anything and everything. One of my brothers, we always said that he could sell a refrigerator to an Eskimo. An Eskimo lives in ice, and he could still convince them to buy a refrigerator. So that's how good they are. They are good with everything. Then I got to Budapest. I was all excited. I had first experience at the airport. I took the flight. I had to transit to get to Budapest. I got to Moscow. I took Lufthansa. But everybody went to BA. Why am I taking Lufthansa? I got to Moscow and I saw hips and I thought, what's that? Sand at the airport? And I realized, okay, it's not white sand. It's actually snow. That was when my trouble started. Oh God, I'm dead. I'm finished. I'm leaving Ghana in about October-ish. The weather was good. And I got to Moscow and I was just shivering. Long story short, we eventually got to Budapest, and I thought, okay, once I get to Budapest, my brothers are there, things will be good. And then I got to Budapest and I thought, things are actually worse. I want to go back home to Ghana. Life is better in Ghana than in Budapest. That was just the prelims. The real wahala, as they say, is about to start. My brothers were in the school. It's a scholarship program, so obviously you have to do well. And they were doing very well. They were not doing just well. They were doing very well. So naturally, you're expected. You're expected to do well. I'm thinking, oh God. And if you know Budapest, you have to learn the language and study in the language. Yeah, so you have to learn the language for 1 year. That was interesting. I didn't want to do anything in Budapest than law. If I knew then what I know now, I'd probably say, okay, let's just look at something else. But from when I was knee-high, all I'd wanted to do was read law. I would go to the courts and sit with my dad, watch my dad talk, different people talking for clients, and then I thought, oh God, there's a whole bunch of people who couldn't speak for themselves. So when I grow up one day, this is what I'd want to be. So that was it. I settled that in my spirit and everything else. I didn't even want to look elsewhere. And I used to say that I couldn't do anything else than being a lawyer. But I loved it so much. So although it was difficult, it was okay to do. So I got to Budapest, learned the language for a year. Everybody was passing exams. And Budapest is not like you rate 10 to 10. It's okay. Some people rate 10 to 20. No. Everybody must get Otosh. Otosh is 5, like excellent. Like Who does that? You write exams. Some people are meant to come among, towards middle to the end. It's okay. It's not failed. It's fast. But for them, no, it wasn't. And because my brothers had actually set such a fantastic record, I didn't have a choice than to follow suit. So they come and they talk to you and like, oh, you're the Tessa girl. I'm thinking, no, I want to hide. I was so scared that I was basically studying all the time. Like, people look at you like, okay, we've just finished class. Take a break. I'm like, you don't understand. I speak English. I don't speak Mojo. You are the only people who don't say police in police or police or police. You say Rendo Shegwe. I'm like, when am I going to learn this? Then you have to study in the language. There's no choice. Now, apparently you can study in English and all that. No, that's fancy. You have to study in the language. So you have to learn the language. There's no choice. If you don't understand what the language is saying, how would you study law in the language? And you would agree with me that law is a subject of language and different technologies and all that. So you really need to learn the language. We got on. Every summer we'll go to the UK, do work and come back, get some little, pounds for pockets, and then you'll come back. And then I was doing not too badly. It wasn't like my brothers. And then lo and behold, when I got to LTE, that's the law college, mathematics, I thought, my God, they had followed me. The people from Accra had followed me to this place, all the way through Moscow to here. Math, I don't know it. And it's not just math, statistics, and a lot of fancy names. So I had to call a meeting of my brothers and their friends. I'm like, okay, this thing, if it embarrasses me, it embarrasses all of you. I'm going to take a sleep. You work this thing out. When you're done, call me. Let's find out how far we can go. Everybody I knew in that place would teach me maths because I had to pass. It wasn't optional. I had to pass. So I'll cook for them and they'll teach me maths. It wasn't bad. It was a good deal. They liked the food. Everybody ate in my room and I could cook, so that was good. Maths and food. And it was okay. We passed that hurdle as well. And the studies began, and it was tedious. The studies in that part of the world is different from what I was used to in the secondary schools in Ghana. So you have to pass everything. I kept passing. I was so scared, and people would stay up all night, and it was freezing, and they would keep drinking coffee and to study. And then I thought, okay, maybe I should drink some of this coffee. And then I had a cup of coffee. I didn't have the whole cup. I just had a sip. I ended up in the hospital for 3 days. That was when I found out I was allergic to coffee. I didn't drink one in Ghana, so I didn't know. So I thought, okay, life is going to... Meanwhile, my brothers were now flying all over the world. You're looking for them, they are in London. At the time, my dad had to summon all of them, say, go back to Budapest with your sister. They were nowhere to be found. You have to do well because they've already left a record. I was like, okay, that's good. Then it got to one subject, Roman law. There was a lecturer that I had. I think he just didn't like me as a person. I couldn't say he didn't like the color of my skin because there were a couple of other black people that he got on with. He just didn't like me personally. I thought my life was over. Everything I did, I tried to change lecturer from him to another person. He came there while I was talking to that person. The minute he arrived, that person said no. I mean, it was not an easy task, but we went through that as well. Then, second year in the university, I realized, okay, this thing is interesting. I'm in Budapest, eastern part of Europe, and they study the Roman law. And I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a barrister, not just a lawyer. I mean, UK, they have the difference. You have the barristers and you have the solicitors. But in Ghana, it's fused, so that's okay. But I wanted to be a barrister. I was very clear about being an advocate. So I needed to be in court, and I wanted to do the English legal system because that's what we practice in Ghana and in most parts of the world. Then I realized, wow. Then I realized, okay, I couldn't do that if I finished studying in Budapest because I'll be doing Roman law and it wouldn't take me anywhere. So I said to my dad, okay, so I think I want to go and study in the UK. I want to go back and I don't want to come after the summer holidays. And so my dad said, okay, do you understand what that means? I'm like, yes, I understand. I have to work and pay my fees because it was no longer scholarship. The scholarship wouldn't transfer to the UK. So I got to London and I applied to London Guildhall University, which is now called London Metropolitan. And I got the admission and I started to work. But I had to study in the evening because I had to go to work during the day. And I did 3 jobs. I do one in the morning that finishes around 8. You have a good guess what that is. And then I have to leave there and run to Mark 1. There's a shop that sells children's clothing. And I do Mark 1 from 8 to about 2 p.m. Then I have to run from there to Thompson Weddings in Turnpike Lane in London. It's a wedding shop. And I sew. So because I sew, I was there doing the alterations, giving ideas to things. And I thought, okay, this is good. I did it for a while. I started my course. Then I realized, okay, I was burning out. So something's got to give. Then I thought, okay, I can't do this for long. I did a course, a paralegal course, and then I got qualified as a paralegal. So I thought, okay, good. I want to be a lawyer for life. So I need to get a place where I can get experience. I did the paralegal course, and I thought, okay, I'll go around and look for jobs and, take my CVs up. I was still doing the 3 jobs and I stopped the first one. So there was now 2. I still doing evening classes. Sometimes, by the time you get to the class in the evening, the teacher will look at you like, are you in this class? We're about an hour into the class. What are you doing here? You have to explain yourself. You have to do 2 jobs before coming here. They look at you like, oh, this African girl. And then when I started the course itself, the English legal system, oh boy, I should have chosen something else. People advised me. When I got there, that's one of the things. I got there and I said I wanted to do law. They said, you speak with an accent. I was like, oh, really? That should matter? I didn't even know I speak with an accent then. Now I do. But I thought to myself, why should that matter? I have common sense. I speak well. You will understand what I'm saying. They're like, you can't be an advocate. In court, you have to speak out to judges. Sometimes 7 of them, 3 of them, people will listen. They are all white people. Do you understand? I'm like, yeah, your point is. I was determined that I was going to be a barrister. And nothing was going to stop me. You have to be determined. Ms. Elizabeth told us already. With determination, you can do it. They will tell you it is impossible, but if somebody has done it before, then what's the difference? That person, as my dad would say, doesn't have 2 heads. My mom and my dad, when we were very young, said to us, if you want to do something, do it well, or don't do it at all. You can't do it haphazardly. You can't do it anyhow. And then they will remind you that you are a Tetin. So that means you remember that, oh gosh, I'm a Tetin. Okay, keep going. You do it so well. English legal system, I was so scared. Oh, Mr. McLeod. I was so scared that the man had a book from which he was teaching. It's one of those people with a lot of beard, so he speaks and I don't. And I wasn't used to the English accent. Like, why? So right now, they teach you to speak like a plum in your mouth. Oh, you have a fruit in your mouth. Plum. And so sometimes I'm like, it's not because I couldn't see him, that's why I was facing. I just want to hear what he was saying. I got used to that very quickly. I realized that I was going to fail this course, and it wasn't optional. If I failed 1, 2, 3 courses like you were saying, I was out. And I couldn't be out. So I bought his book. I studied his book like life depended on it. And out of 60 marks they were looking for at the time, I got 40. I was pleased with myself. I was very pleased with myself. So course started. I got the paralegal course. Then when you finish the paralegal course, you go on a tour in the courts. They show you how the system are. I went on the tour. Then I saw someone that I recognized. And the person was like, what are you doing here? Prior to that, someone has invited me to one of the chambers. I love God. God is my number 1. So I pray to God. Whatever you find to pray to it. Because that directs you. Sometimes when you really don't know what to do, call God or call whoever you want to call, and that person will direct you. I met this man and said, oh, you look familiar. And there's a whole bunch of us doing the tour. And I said, oh yeah, it was me. I was here the last 2 weeks ago. What are you doing here? I said, oh, I just finished the paralegal course, so we're doing the tour. So you're a paralegal now? Yes. Prior to that, he had seen me a week before, and he said, what are you doing? What are you studying? They were having fun, and I got invited to that meeting. I got there, and they said, oh, you're not the gift you were expecting. And I said, oh, I'm the one that have been asking for directions for the past 1 hour. Oh, see, what are you doing? I'm studying law. They all had a good life. There's a bunch of barristers and QCs and judges. They were having their usual Friday afternoon drink up. And they said, oh, what are you doing? I'm doing law. Don't do law, you have an accent. Why don't you become a solicitor? In that case, you don't need to go to court or anything like that. I'm like, no, I want to do law to become a barrister. So one of them said to me, I tell you what, if you're able to finish your course and become a barrister, I will personally give you pupillage. He did not realize that I took that word, picked up a box, put it in, locked it up, kept it under my armpit. For the whole time that I was studying, I had that, okay, I already have pupillage. Pupillage is a training that you do after you finish Makola. And in the UK, it is impossible to get. You just won't get. Even the people in the UK themselves are not getting. How much more you, this little adult girl from Ghana who speaks with an accent? They are not going to waste their time on you. But I got that and I kept it in the box. Long story short, I found myself in that doesn't come out of my time. It's an announcement. I found myself, I passed my exam, I got to Bristol University. And I said, okay, good, I've passed my part-time, so I'm going to do this full-time, and I got there. But before I got there, I was 3 weeks late on the course. It's like, they don't leave me alone. Everything about my education had to be a challenge. And I was very determined that I was going to do something good with life. I was 3 weeks late because I did my course on part-time basis, evenings. And if you're a part, they have two registrations. You're either a part-time student or a full-time student. Being a part-time student, you're limited to the number of subjects you can do within a year. But because I wanted to finish early, every semester I added one subject to my subject. And I was doing it. By the time I finished with my dissertation, meant that I had done 8 subjects, which qualified me for a full-time student, and I wasn't a full-time student. So that became a problem. The school wouldn't mark my dissertation. London Guildhall said they couldn't mark my dissertation. After they had, first of all, I had to write 30,000 in those days. I had to cut it down to something. Long story short, they won't mark it. So I came back to my room crying and everything else, and then I said a prayer. That's why I said God is very important. He's been the foundation of it all. I said a prayer, and my sister Victoria, God bless her, she was with me, she said, I couldn't say amen to that. That's just wicked prayer. I couldn't say amen. That happened, prayers were answered, and I got to bar school, but I got there 3 weeks late. And again, math shows up. Quantum and quantum. I had to learn a particular subject. God locked myself up in the room for a long time, did it. Long story short, passed out, got called to the back, excited. Pupillage was already ready, but they were pretending they had forgotten their promise. So I brought out my box and I opened it up and I said, here it is, you said it. So I got pupillage, and then I started practicing. It was good, I was enjoying myself and everything. Then one day in my house, I said to myself, I'm going to set up chambers by myself. I'm going to set up chambers and be head of chambers. Now, the way it works is, you have to be very senior at the bar to be able to set up chambers. It's as simple as that. And mostly you will find that it's men, older men, QCs, and so on, who set up chambers. Here is this 3-year practice experienced person who wants to set up chambers. I had 2 friends in my house at the time when I studied. My parents were in London in my house. They all fell off their seats. Picked them up, sat them back on the seat and said, yes, I want to set up chambers. They said, you're mad. I said, I want to set up chambers, not just in any parts of London, but in the Middle Temple. They're like, okay, maybe some sickness has gone into her head. We need to examine. Long story short, I set up the chambers. The first time I went to take the leave, the woman saw me and said, are you sure? I said, yes. She showed me the place and everything. I said, yes. She looked at me and she said, you have made history in the Middle Temple. In the history of the Middle Temple, there have never been a female black woman set up chambers. This is gone down in the book. I wanted to say to her, can you just put it in writing so I can frame it up? Anyway, so I got chambers started. I mean, other members of my other chambers, they questioned, some of them said to me, is that even possible? Is it real? Is it possible? Did Bar Council allow you to set up? So I had to pull out all the letters to say, well, I wrote to them on this day, they said this and they said that, and now here is chambers. The person who trained me as my supervisor became a member of my chambers. I said that with all humility. And if he was here today, he always said, you have done what people could not do. Oh, I thought, okay, I've achieved, good. Then my trouble started. That's probably before another day. My trouble started because the people that were now in my chambers were people who I used to follow, as a paralegal. They gave me a job. I used to follow them to court and write notes for them as a court clerk. And now I'm head of chambers, and they are in my chambers. And that's a whole lot of story, but my time is up. My encouragement is this: do you want it badly enough? Do you really want it? You can do it. You can get the A in the math if you want it that bad. Would impediments come? Would difficulties come? Plenty of them, I can assure you. They are still coming. But I know that the same God that has started with me, I haven't just finished. No, there's plenty to come. You'll be hearing more of me, because I'll be doing things. The next thing I want to do is learn to fly a plane. We're working on that. But I'd like to encourage all of you. Sometimes it seems impossible, really. Reality would hit you in the face and you tell yourself, I can't do it. There's so many nitty-gritties to you that time will not permit me to share with you. But if you want it enough, you can do it. And I said to people that if you want law enough, you have to love law enough to do law. Otherwise, forget it. Because it's difficult, but it's doable. God bless you.
Thank you very much, lady. Seriously, I didn't feel the clap at all. Okay. As usual, she said something. If you want to do something, I want the response. You see, you are not writing. The parents advised her that if you want to do something, do it. Or that's going to be our slogan. If you want to do something, thank you very much, lady. Thank you so much. We are continuing with our presentations. And the second segment is confident speakers. So, confident speakers. Did you hear that? Okay. So we have our first presenter. She is a doctor, lecturer at the Business School of Jimpa and a board chair Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP. My beautiful daughters, ladies and gentlemen, I'm presenting to you Dr. Jemima Nunu.
Good afternoon. I hope you're well. Are you still awake? I'm doing something good. Okay. So I want to talk to you about confidence, or the importance of confidence. And you see me here, do I look confident to you? I do? Okay, sorry. I look confident to you. Okay, I wasn't always like this. When I was a teenager, early teen, I couldn't have worn this. Anytime I wore anything, it was big, it had to be big, it had to be dark, it had to cover my whole body, and so you couldn't see any shape. Do you want to know why? You want to know why? I thought my whole body, from the crown of my head to the sole of my feet, was ugly. I had severe body issues. So you know all the lumps and bumps that keep on developing more and more every day. Yes? Are they developing? I really hated them. So when I look in the mirror, what I would see of myself was not what others would see of me. So I wanted to hide myself in clothes. I wanted to drown myself in as many clothes. So I wouldn't just wear a top and some jeans. I'd wear baggy jeans, a big top, a coat over that, so that everything was concealed. And to be honest with you, it was making my life quite miserable, because I felt I wasn't good enough. I felt I was very ugly. I felt that nobody could find anything beautiful in me. So I had a big crisis of confidence. So my favorite colors were always either black or gray or anything that wouldn't bring attention to me or my body. But the reason, one of the ways I got over this was that I came to Ghana one time. I used to live in England, and I came to Ghana one time. And my grandma is amazing. My grandma is fantastic. So my grandma saw me, and she saw me and she was like, what's happening? You're in Ghana, you've got trousers on, you've got a top on, and you've got a jacket on top of all of that in this very sweltering heat. So she asked me why, and I said, Grandma, I don't like my body, I don't like my bum, it's too big, and everything's growing too big. So my grandma looked at me, and then she shook her head, and she said, do you know what people would do to get what you have? And then I was like, Grandma, please, And then my grandma was like, take off that jacket and show your body. So I took off the jacket, and I did show a little bit more of my body. But something really stuck when my grandma said to me, do you know what you have? How many people would want what you have? And then I thought, actually that's true. I need to have more self-belief. I need to believe in myself a little bit more than I'm doing, because there's many things that I have that other people will want. My bum that I didn't like, people are going and having injections to get the kind of body that I have been blessed with. Maybe I've got more flesh than, I would like. But thank God I've got flesh. Some people are not well, they look malnourished, and they would really love to have as much flesh as I do. So what am I saying? The main thing is to have belief in yourself. To know that, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the day's proceedings.
Moving on to our next presentation on confidence. To do justice to this is a lady I met the last time we had our national conference, and I truly admire her so much. She is the West African Regional Manager for Mandela Washington Fellowship. I have not finished yet, please. The fellowship, that is flagship program for President Obama's Young African Leaders Initiative. She has worked in the US, in Canada, and now based in Accra, Ghana. Just permit me to mention the name very well before you clap. I'm privileged, so honored, to introduce to you the second confidence speaker in the person of Miss Aissatou Tehati. So some love.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow, I would say all protocol observed, because I appreciate my fellow ladies and students. You all, I love you so much, because I was just one of you. What I will say about confidence is start first by appreciating your difference. Your difference is a gift, okay? Can you imagine a room full of all of Dr. Anda, or all of me, or all of any of us here, right? We all, as you heard our stories, you heard the difference. I am saying there, I start nodding, hey, that sounds like me. And then all of a sudden I said, no, that's not me. Talking about confidence, I want to just take a moment and go, you are listening to us, and I am sure that little voice in your head is saying, I want to be just like her. Please, don't be just like us. Be a better version of yourself.
Because that you can do very well. I can never, it doesn't matter how hard I try, I cannot be Dr. Anda. I cannot be anybody, Dr. Jemima, no. But I will tell you also, part of confidence is acknowledging that in life, things are not going to be rosy. I am a double orphan standing here. I don't know if any of you have the gift of having your two parents. I lost my dad when I was 12 years old. I lost my mother when I was 22 years old. And we were not rich, wealthy. Some of you even wonder, how did they even make it to the U.S.? How did they, we've mentioned different places we've gone to, right? Let me tell you, I went and I am where I am today because of scholarship. So 3 things happened. I got my confidence from books. I got my confidence knowing very early, and that's the difference with my dear sister here. I could care less about boys. I was like, boys can wait. I actually remember my best friend at school coming and telling me, you know what? The boys say you are very obnoxious. They can't talk to you. You are always within yourself. And I went home, of course. I was a bit shattered because we all like to be liked. So I told my mother. I repeated that story. My friend told me that the boys, they don't want to invite me. I am obnoxious and this and that. She clapped for me, standing ovation. She said, good for you. That means you're doing something right. I was confused. I said, what am I doing right? She said, one day these are the same boys that will be talking about you and wanting to marry you. I believe her because my husband is my friend from university. I went to primary school, but I went to all-girls high school. In Dakar, Senegal, I could not, that's a francophone system. I did not speak one word of English, but I loved the English language. So what I did was read. I would take the dictionary and read it like it was a novel. I remember one afternoon I went and hid in the bookstore, the library, the school library. They closed it, locked me there. Yes. My friends used to tease me, she is a bookworm. Oh, she is boring. She's always reading. If you're hearing those things being said to you, appreciate them. Don't wait until you are in your 20s, 30s and say, right now, know that who you are is good. You are good enough. I didn't grow up in a wealthy family. I had enough, and I tell you, enough of everything is just okay, right? You have enough love, you have enough belief, you have enough confidence. I will share, when I went to the U.S. with my scholarship, I was always, of course, I was hard studying. I had good grades. But here I was all of a sudden on a scholarship in an American school. The language of operation is English. And I was struggling with that. So what happened, my papers were always good, but my writing in class, I didn't have the confidence to speak because I was afraid to make mistakes. But then I start asking people, whatever I say to my American friends, they will say, what? What? Excuse me? So when they talk to me, I ask them, what? What? Excuse me? How many languages do you speak? I speak French, I speak Wolof, I speak Fula, and I speak Spanish. How many languages do you speak? English. I said, okay. So I start appreciating my difference. I am sharing that with you not to boast and said, you know, because there's a fine line between being confident and being arrogant. Be polite, be respectful, but know that who you are is good enough, you have substance, and your difference is a gift. And don't let the way people look, myself, any of us here, your classmate, the girl you're thinking, she is pretty, you are pretty too in your own way. So that's my message to you. Have confidence in yourself. Go out, yes, study hard. Books, I say the 3 boys the 3 B's in life. Books, boys, and babies later. Because when you're studying, well, you are best friend with your books, the right boy will come. If the wrong boy comes, the boy that will tell you boring, you're always reading, please go to the next one. Note that, wait. They can wait. The boys can wait. Have the confidence to challenge them. They will tell you, you know what? You are so boring. You don't like to do fun things. You're not going out. You're not doing this. Tell them, yes, that's okay. Let me tell you, being the youngest of 7, I have 5 older sisters. So I wanted to be, of course, it's natural, be like them. I wanted to date who they were dating when I started dating. So I was dating older men, the men that were the age of my sister's boyfriends. And once I met this man. I was an usher at a fair in Senegal. This was my senior year in high school. And he was just very interested in me. And he wanted to invite me. So one day I said, you know what? I'm going to meet with him. That's the confidence. And I'm going to speak. But you have to speak, say that to yourself. So we met, and I asked him before he started talking, so what do you want from me? Because if you want to have sex, go to the next girl. I am not having sex with you. He started laughing. He said, this is exactly why I like you, because you just have confidence, right? So now we are best friends. He's older. He's one of my mentors. But tell you what, he said when he shared that stories with the 3 girls he has in his life. He has 3 daughters, and he tells them that story, that this girl that I liked so much, but he was 10 years older than me, challenged him and said, what do you want from me? So if there is a man coming, teacher in your neighborhood, wherever, I give you the permission that your mothers, all of us, challenge them, look them in the eyes and said, what do you want from me? Right? If they don't give you a right answer, tell them to go away. You have to have the confidence to know. Also, part of confidence is knowing when to stop, when something is not working, when something is not bringing value to where I am right now, do away with it. Even in your circle of friends, because we are so proud of girls' friendship, but we also have to talk about the challenges. We are very quick to judge one another. We are very quick to say, look at what she's wearing today. Look at her shoes. I am so glad you all are in uniform, because what demarcates you from one another is your confidence, your substance, your books, your difference. If you have a talent, explore it. If you like to read, read. When people are talking about topics that you don't understand, talk about your books. Tell them, hey, I just read this book. I still do it. I just read this book. What have you read lately? If you are good at sewing, tell them, do you know how to make this? When you're good at braiding, teach them how to braid. Actually, I made money braiding when I went to the U.S. because everybody was like, I love your hair. I love your hair. I did it. Do you want me to teach you? Right? So that was my side business, making money, so I was able to buy my books. Because I am where I am today because of scholarships. I have my siblings, but I am very aware that for anybody in Africa to pay for a tuition of anybody in North America or the UK or anywhere, trust me, they are making a sacrifice. It is pretty darn expensive. So don't see us and thinking, oh, they have it easy. Even if our parents paid for us, for some of them, that the parents had to make sacrifice. So explore your talent. What do you have? If you can cook, start catering, right? Explore your talent, nurture yourself, be the best version of yourself, and know that you are enough. That's my advice to you. Every day when you wake up and look in the mirror, say, I am enough. Just the way I am. I am beautiful. That little voice will continue to talk to you. All of us will tell you. We wake up, I am sure some of us said, what am I going to talk about? I'm talking about confidence. Those questions never stop. It's the answers that you give yourself and the answers that the world gives you that will carry you. So the answer I want you to give yourself is what? I am enough, right? And I want to be the better version of myself. That's all you can be, okay? I love you all. I wish you the very best, and I hope one day you will be standing here and sharing your stories. Because you know what? It's possible, it can happen. You are looking at a double orphan here who did not have money to pay for school, but I had the confidence to speak my mind, and I made my book my best friend. You can do that. To quote Barack Obama, I worked for his program. Yes, you can. Okay? Love you, dearly wishing you the best. Dr. Ander, keep this fire going. We need it. Thank you.
Love and affection and all that we need to welcome on board Mrs. Catherine Esegbe. Maybe she wants to be down. Oh, give her the clap as she comes, sir.
The two. Should I go to my elder peers, my elder sisters? Where do I turn to? So we are here to learn something on sexuality. On sexuality. First of all, I just want us to look at our objectives why we came here. I believe our mentors we continue. I believe our mentors have given us a lot. So our first objective is what? To encourage female students to focus and strive to achieve what? Their visions. I'm sure everybody has a vision here, isn't it? We have our visions and our missions, isn't it? That's why we are here. And to back up the fact that hard work, and what? Determination. I'm sure our mentors has talked a lot about that. And the dedication to yield positive results. The third one is to introduce real practical mentors to the students to enable them to come to the realization that they do what? To be able to emulate as an example for themselves. And the fourth one is to what? To inspire and to establish the fact that, contrary to some societal views, we will by all means what? Succeed as what? As females in the world by sacrificing their hearts, our morality and our virtue. That is our objective. That's why we are hot. We are here today. What is menstruation? It's a periodic blood flow from where? From our womb throughout to our vagina. Isn't it? Yes. They will sit at our where? At our vulva. It's a periodic blood flow from the womb to the vagina to the vulva. That's what our menstruation. And it happens what? And every month that we see that blood flow in us. When you start in puberty, what happens to you? You don't get it so often. It's irregular for you. At a time, you may see it. At a time, you may not see it. Please, it's not a condition, it's not a disease. is normal when you are adults. First of all, let's see which year do we even classify as an adult. 10 to where? 19 years. We all fall in that group, in that category. Then, when you start your menarche, what happened? The first time you had your menses, that is called what? Your menarche. So please, if you have not had your menses now, the first one that you have, please write the date, because you may need it when you maybe have your medical checkup or something. We will need it. So please write it somewhere and keep it for us. So the blood continue flowing, will flow. So guess where? To your menopause. Menopause is what? Season of menstruation. Now all the eggs are sleeping. There's no hormones there. There's no progesterone. There's no hot estrogen. So there's no bleeding at that side. Where are we? Where are we? Have we finished with the menstruation? Have you finished with the menstruation? Okay. Now, at the stage of menstruation, what happened? It's a cycle that you have to go through. The first one is what? The bleeding stage, which lasts for 3 to 7 days. Some will come and complain to you, I've bled only for 2 days, and she thinks her condition is normal because you fall within the normal range. Even just a day, just 1 day blood flow, please, it's a normal flow for you. It's not a condition for you. Okay? Then stage 3, what do you see? The matured egg will do what? And it differs from every individual. Some bleed throughout the whole 7 days. Some bleed for the 5 days. Some bleed for 4 days. Some bleed for 3 and 2 days. And they are all what? Normal. They are all normal. But when you start in adolescence, please, it will be irregular for more than a year for you. If it happens, please don't giggle. Don't worry your parents, I'm going to see a doctor or something like that. It's normal with you. It's normal. Whilst you have not done what? Anything. What am I saying? Since you have not messed up yourself, you are under control. You are normal. You are normal. Please, don't go and then do something to yourself. It will start flowing for you again. The third stage is what? That's the ovulation. The egg will release from the ovum. They come through, it will pass through the fallopian tubes. Then you are ovulating, waiting for the sperm to meet it. Now there's no sperm, because we are not at that age. There's no sperm to meet your egg. Then the cycle will do what? Will continue. But if you mess up your life, you mess up, what happens? You get pregnant. Anybody, any female, any adolescent, as soon as you realize you have started flowing, your blood has started flowing, you are hot. Prepare for pregnancy, prepare for baby, prepare for breastfeeding. Are you prepared to do all these things? No, not at all. Not at all at this stage. Not at all at this stage. Not at all. Then the cycle will what? Will continue. Will continue. But there is something that you realize it happens. What do you see here? You may feel a very sharp pain, either your right or your left, because we have 2 ovaries. Can you just imagine the fallopian tube in mind? I know you've gone through it, isn't it? Yes. So you have the left and the right egg, isn't it? So one will rupture this month, and that one, the next month, it also ruptures. If you are not unlucky like me, and the two ruptures and you get pregnant, what do you get? Twins. But they're not normal twins. But what do you get? Fraternal twins. They don't look alike, and you get opposite sex. It was God's own doing. You get me? That is what happens. Then what happened? There's a vaginal discharge. It's so sticky. It looks like if you break an egg, the whitish part is so slimy. When you're ovulating, that's what you see in your vagina. Then what happened again? Your breast becomes so tender to touch, so sensitive. You don't want anything to touch your breast. It also happens to you. And then there's a little bit of what? Rise in temperature in your body. Menstrual hygiene. Menstrual hygiene. That's the most important thing I want to teach. Menstrual hygiene. What do you do here? If you start flowing, you need to keep yourself very clean, hygienic, not contaminated. And before you enter the bathroom, what do? Please wash your hands first. Some go in and come out and wash. Please no. I'm going to the washroom. If you are lucky and there's a sink in front of the bath or the washroom, please kindly wash your hand. Because you must have touched something, you must have handled something in the classroom, have contaminated your hand. You're going to remove your pants. So please kindly wash your hand before you enter the washroom. And if you enter your washroom, you want to change your pad, please kindly use sanitary pad. Clean sanitary pad. I know everybody here use sanitary pad, but not rag or not entomago. Isn't it? Yes. We know how to take care of that rag too. But here I'll talk about sanitary pad because I know everybody here uses sanitary pad. So I'm going to talk about that one. So you remove your pants to change your sanitary pad. Please make sure you don't touch where the blood has filled. You remove your pants. The sanitary pad is attached to your pants under, isn't it? So you remove, and then you have what? Your waste paper. Please make sure when you are in your menses and you are going to the class, make sure you have a waste paper with you. Don't go and tear your notebooks or your book that you are going to use. Just remove, just take a graphic, an old graphic from the house and then take it to the classroom. Use that one just to wrap your sanitary pad before you dispose it. Please, we beg you. Please, we beg you. There was a school I went, I told them they should use something to wrap. Do you know what they were using? The tissue paper. Then they realized, when we put tissue paper in the classroom or the toilet roll, within seconds, all is finished. So please, kindly use any waste paper that you can get. Any waste paper that you can get. Thank you. Let's continue. What's next? So after you finish, you do what? You wash again under running water with soap and water. With soap and water. Please, he said, do not clean the inside of the vagina. Do you know why? There's a hymen there. That is your treasure. But God being so good, when the time is up and you are going to menstruate, a little bit of it, there's a whole God naturally open a place for you so that the blood will do what? Will flow through that hole. So if you touch that end or you push something in, you have broken that virginity. You've broken it. And I tell you, if you keep it, the only thing that will break it is what? If you are having sex. When you are due and you are married and you are going to have sex, that is your treasure. You become so proud of it. And your husband is so proud of it. Please. So make sure you don't break your virginity. You have some key points here. Do we have? Menarche is a sign that you have reached your puberty. Menses is normal and should happen to all girls. The length of cycle is different from each person's. And then absence of menses may be indication of pregnancy or health condition. Did I say that? Did I say that? Yes. Then keep yourself what? Clean. Very hygienic for us during these menses. And there's a mood change. You may be happy. Nothing has happened to you. You look so moody. You are so much annoyed with yourself. Please, it's normal. It's normal with you. It's part of it. Then what again? If you have any problem without any menses, see what? If you have a problem, then you do what? You see what? Your physician or your doctor. HIV. What do you see there? Can you get it? Can you get it? Can you get it? So you need to abstain. We need to abstain. If you abstain, you will not do what? You don't get it. So let's see what the abstinence is telling us. Let's look at the abstinence. Have you seen? Are you abstaining? Everybody is dodging. The boy is dodging. The guy is dodging. And maybe we are also dodging it because we want to avoid HIV and what? Unplanned pregnancy. Unplanned pregnancy. What is sexual abstinence? What is it? You can choose to abstain from sex. And then you do what? You can enjoy it when you have your dodo, when you have your wedding, when you are married. And your husband will feel so proud about you. So I preach today that if you can be able to keep it for me, your virginity for me, your husband will be so much happy, loving. I don't know what to say. Let's continue. The third one is what? It is a decision you have to take. Tell yourself, me, Kate, I will not do it till I do what? I marry. The boys will come, tell them no. Now my friends are what? My books. And please, who is here is, your mother is not your friend. Make sure you make your mother or your father your friend. Other than that, you do what? You go and seek information to mess up your life. Make your mother, your teachers, your friends. So you can get more information from them. Why should I abstain? Why? Why should I abstain sex? Whilst I'm in school, whilst I'm an adolescent. Why should I abstain sex? What are we saying here? It helps you to do what? To channel your heart, your energy onto other things. You can play football, jogging, ampe, ludo, a lot of things. You can do a lot of things with your energy. What target do you have? If you avoid it, what do you have? STIs. Do you know you can have STIs now and it can stay with you till your age? You can get an STI, sexually transmitted disease, and it can be with you. And then in the future, you can infect your husband and your baby. That in 20 years time you are going to bring out. So what will happen if when I warn you, what will happen? You have saved your husband, you have saved your baby. Is there any future problem with abstinence? When I abstain, something happened to me? Not at all. Nothing. But it makes you bold like a lion. It makes you bold. And then you become so confident. I'm sure our mentors talk about confidence when they were here. And then you become sort proud of it. You boast about it. Then it prepares you for a better future sex. And then you what? It builds you up for your future. What do I miss if abstain from sex? Do you miss something? Not at all. You don't. You don't miss anything at all. That's the right choice for you. Your sexual feeling remain what? Intact. As I've told you already. It remains intact for you. And then abstinence becomes what? A smarter way of what? Of your own choice. Of your own choice. Please abstain. Please abstain. I want to give you about 4 tips. In the school, I know you are a mixed school here. Please, if a boy call you in the dark place, please don't go. Are you hearing me? She wants to pass through a path with you. The place is so dark. Please don't follow him. Are you hearing? You visit a boy, she gives you a drink. Don't take it. You may not know what she has dropped into the drink. To just daze you up and then have the opportunity of you. Please make sure you don't be with the opposite sex at the back of a car alone. You may be doing something at the back, the driver can't even see it. And please don't kiss. If the person is your boyfriend, don't hurt. Do you know what I'm going to get from the kiss? The HIV is there for you. Hepatitis B is there for you. So please, reserve your kiss for who? Your partner, your husband, your lovely one.
To say yes, ma. Absolutely. Whatever you are doing, do it well or don't do it at all. It's very important. If you do, they said, if you do things by half, you might as well not do it. So that's also good. Anybody else? With determination. Determination is important. Very important. And that's what drives you. If you have the knowledge and you are not determined, you are not going to be able to succeed. So determination is important. The knowledge behind the determination is also important. Anybody else? Just a second. Yes? Fear failure. and you will pass. Yes. I mean, there are a lot of people who think, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm going to fail. Oh, this exam. Sometimes you've learned, but before you even enter the exam room, I know I'm not good in physics, so I know I failed anyway. What's the point? And yet when you enter, if you put your mind to it, because you've been learning, something has stuck in your mind. But as soon as you enter, you panic or you fear. Those of us doctors will tell you that certain chemicals are released. So you initially panic, then it gets worse, then your heart starts beating, then you go blank, then the whole paper starts looking. I don't know whether some of you have had that experience. The paper is there, but you can't even understand what is on the paper. Meanwhile, you've learnt it. And what has caused that is about fear, and the fear of failure. The fear that you will fail. Anybody else? Hey, madam, this woman. No, I won't let you answer a question. Absolutely. Give me 5. I'll give you half a book. No, there's no half book. But, having dreams, and that's what Mrs. Beatty told us, it's good to dream. But if you don't back that dream with efforts, my dear, you see the books she showed you? She had a dream to be an author. She had a dream to write children's books. She had a dream to... But if she just sat there and said, oh, I'm dreaming, it will remain a dream. And it won't become a reality. But she was just reading, and I am, I can bear testimony, because as she told you, from Form 1 to Form 5, Baba has been, Elizabeth Irene has been my friend. And that woman could read. So when she decided she wanted to be an author herself, she just kept reading one book after another to even learn how to be an author. So everything that you are doing, you have to learn. Don't think also, from that I'm saying, don't think you have a talent. I have a talent and I'm going to sit there, oh, I can sing. You are singing in your bathroom, you are singing in your bedroom. Oh, I know one day I'll be a great singer. You are singing in your bathroom and your bedroom. Who's going to know? If you go to and that's the other thing, confidence. You can sing. You go to church. Instead of you to offer yourself for the choir, go there. Be rejected. There's nothing wrong with being rejected. When you are rejected, that spurs you on. Do you understand? But the fear of rejection. If I go to the choir, crowd, they are all wearing black shoe. I don't have black shoe. And then they wear this white top. My mother doesn't have. Take that bold step. Somebody, a patron of the choir, will realize that, why is it that every time this girl comes, her voice is good, but she doesn't have the right attire? My mom is a patron of a youth choir. And all the money we are giving her now, she's 82. All the money we are giving her is going into the youth choir. But, she believes that. So you meet those kinds of people who will make that dream of your having a good voice, going in there, singing, they will make it a reality. But if you stay back and say, I can't do it, it's not possible, and all of that, that dream will always remain a dream. Okay, 2 more contributions, and then we go to the book. Anybody? Yes. A lawyer. Okay. Come back to Ghana and come and do medicine. If you are too rigid in your thinking, I have to be a lawyer or nothing else, as soon as something crosses your path, then there's a problem. That is why career counseling sessions are very important. For example, my daughter wants to be a chartered accountant because her father has a big chartered accountancy firm. So I asked her, I said, Kweba, this your maths that you are getting some grades and some grades and some grades. She's very good in science, she's very good in arts, she's good in literature, she's good in all of that. But she wants to be a chartered accountant, so she's doing O-level and A-level. She wants to do business studies, English literature and something, history at A-level. So I said, but the maths is important. So it's 2 things. Either you decide that you are going to do well in maths, then you can be your chartered accountant, or keep your options open. You people are too young. It's good to have that dream, it's good to have that vision, it's good to work towards that vision. And law, You can even do a degree in home economics and still you can do law.
I just am saying, no. So say what you have to say so people can hear you, right? I know you are very polite, but that is not polite. You speak your mind, you speak up. So tell me, who is ready to say something about the book, something about what you've heard today? Because what you've heard is in this book. So if you don't feel comfortable talking about the book yet, talk about something you've heard so far this morning that you have a question about, a thought, a feeling. I feel scared, I feel inspired, encouraged. Share something, please. I am going to be so sad if you don't raise your hand soon. Who is ready? Are you ready? Yes? You too. In the middle.
Okay.
What's your name?
I'm Gifty. Yes. Okay, what I learned today is that nothing good comes easy, because the people we have here today, like the president's physician, like what she said, it wasn't easy. So I've learned that no matter how things are, we should have confidence in ourselves, be inspired, and one day it's going to be better with us.
Indeed, nothing comes easy. I can tell you that nothing comes easy. I just moved to Ghana a year ago to work. This is a new country for me. I am African, but I don't know Ghana, right? All I know of Ghana is in the books, history books, to school, friends. So can you imagine? I didn't say I am scared. That's a different country. I am learning, and it's not easy. But I am here today, 1 year later, so I agree. Nothing comes easy. You conquer the fear, and you have the perseverance to go. Anybody else want to share something? Come. You say your name and your question, right?
My name is Abigail Bruce.
Abigail, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. What's your question?
Like in the menstruation, I learned that if you are menstruation and you have sex, you will not get pregnant. I want to know whether it's true or.
Abigail is asking a question about reproductive health and what my sister was talking about. If you are menstruating and you have sex, will you get pregnant? Well, if you know, I know, you talk about God, you read your books, the Bible and all. First of all, if we know that having a child is a blessing and a gift from God, that gift can be handed to you at any time. Medically, yes, you can. Biologically, yes, you can get pregnant. So I was in the back. I will confess I may not have heard everything that she said, but I will tell you, yes, you can get pregnant at any time. There are exceptions that happen. There are some people try to get pregnant all the time and they can't have children. They're legally married, they're looking forward to it, they're healthy, they can't have children. So part of it is it's a gift from God and it can come at any time, but there is the biological, physical reality that it can also happen during menstruation. Okay, so
what you like to do most, what people identify you with, that's your strength. When I was in school, I studied everything, and like I told you all already, I didn't like maths. So I used to think, if I want to be a lawyer, why are you making me study maths? I'm not going to calculate in the courtroom, I'm going to talk. So give me all the books, I would read it, but don't give me maths. But maths forms part of your putting together. Right now, when you give me a case and it involves personal injury cases, when somebody's had an accident and you have to defend them and you go to court and you calculate how much they should pay them for breaking their leg and everything, there's maths involved. So there's quantum. So if they hadn't taught me maths then, I wouldn't know what to do. Okay, so it was important. So although the subjects are a lot, it is important because it all forms our coming together. It all makes us who we are. You're not going to dwell on it when you are done. because that's not the area you want to go in. You don't want to be a mathematician or a doctor or what have you. You won't do it as a major, but you need to know enough of it. And that's why they call lawyers learned people. You have to know a little bit of everything. Okay, so you'll be able to apply it. When I was in school, I did all the subjects because it was required. But I chose the one that I loved the most. I did more of it. So in my spare time, you will find me with a book. And it's always a novel. Something that has a story in there that I want to get to the end of. Okay, that's how I did it. But in terms of, do you have a curriculum? Do you have a module you have to follow? I had to follow. It was not optional. So I followed it to the end. You know, when you get, in our days, when you get to Form 3, then you choose your subject. Your core subjects. So if it's government, you want to do the arts subjects, you choose them. Then you can do that going forward. But before you get to that stage, it's not optional. You have to do according to the curriculum. Okay? Any other question? Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Somebody?
Please, all women who menstruate get pregnant? Does all women who menstruate get pregnant?
Well, the way God has designed the body is that all women will menstruate and that all women will be able to carry seed. If a woman is not getting pregnant at the right time when they're married, then there is a problem. Okay? So every woman who menstruates should ordinarily be pregnant unless there's a medical problem. Let me find Auntie. Where is she?
Please, when menstruating and you have sex with a guy, are you going to get pregnant?
That is what gets a lot of girls. You can still get pregnant even though you're menstruating if you have sex. You can still get pregnant. I know somebody who got pregnant, although she was having her period 4 months in a row. She was having her period, but she got pregnant. Today she's got a beautiful bouncy baby boy. And she didn't even know she was pregnant. She was going and coming over because every month her cycle was coming. So some women are different. So yes, you can get pregnant even though you're menstruating if you have sex. It depends on where you are in your cycle. Okay?
Parents were like that, or maybe they had strict rules, was because they wanted to protect me. Maybe they've made mistakes in the past, or they know more about what's going on in society or what's happening, and it was their way of protecting me. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make it easier for you because you still want to do what you want to do. You want to experience life, and you know, we used to call them enemies of progress. So you know, you want to do things, and your parents are such enemies of progress, and they will never ever, you know, let you do what you want to do. But I think the thing is as well, you know, your parents, even though they may not seem it, your parents are human beings. They love you first and foremost. They might have limited time, and it's one of the unfortunate things of the day. Of course, they have to work to provide for the household, and it seems that, you know, you only get the last bit of their day if you're lucky. But essentially, they're humans. They love you. They do love you. And once you let that sink, that even when it doesn't seem like it, even when they are being strict and, you know, telling you off and giving you punishments, that actually it's a way of them showing that they love you, then I think it'll be easier for you to relate to them, first of all. I think a lot of the time what helped me is that my parents, I wouldn't say were very strict, they were firm. So if they'd say, no, you can't do that, you don't do this, then sometimes I'd get them and I'd be like, oh, can I ask, please, like, why? Respectfully. You don't, when they say no, you don't go, oh, I hate you and I don't know why you're acting like this, and you know, you don't do that. That is just going to get them more angry. But if they see that you've got a very matured outlook, oh, mommy, oh, I asked you if I could do this, mommy, why is it that, you know, you said that I can't? And if they say, oh, I don't want you hanging around after a certain time, and then if you can, you approach them and say, oh, I'll be safe, I'll make sure I'm at, you can reason with your parents. I mean, you're at an age now where your mind is developing, your thoughts are developing.
and your parents are doing a good job. So even to let them know they're doing a good job is for you to be able to reason with them. Not throw tantrums, start shouting, stomping, or the worst silent treatment. They'll tell you, oh, hello, That doesn't show that you're developing into the young adult that they want you to.
Oh yes, that's a great idea. It's a great idea to do work shadowing, you see. If you are interested in a particular career, as your name is Grace. Okay, so Grace was asking, if you are interested in a particular career, you want to do something in future, but you're not sure what it's about, what it entails, what do you do? The best thing to do is to find somebody who works within that field and ask if you can come to the person's office or workplace and just spend about 3 or 4 days there just observing what they do. You see, it's something which, who is in SSS3 here? SSS3. It's something that would be a very good idea for you during your holidays after you have finished after you finish your exams, and even in fact sometimes even between SSS2 and SSS3, it may be a good idea to go to the workplace of wherever there's a profession that you are interested in and spend a few days there. If you ask your school, for example, you have careers and guidance. You have a careers and guidance.
Thank God we are back. We have gotten to an important part of the program where we are going to have our closing remarks by the director of the Girls Education Unit, that is our headquarters, in the person of Mrs. Kate Mikado. Mami Kate Mikado. You have to keep clapping until she arrives. Mami Kate, one and only Mama. Mami Kate Mikado.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mom.
Hey, Auntie Anna, you've done well. Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, my girls. Good afternoon, girls. And good afternoon, my wonderful teachers and girls officers. I am highly elevated this afternoon. And when we came this morning, we were all like, oh, we are late. When will these people arrive? But I think you all bear with me that we have achieved our objective. I don't want to take much of your time. And throughout the speeches, I have learned something. We all have a story to tell. Some of us are from girls' homes. We've given birth to boys, and you can imagine the challenge. But because we are well informed as a woman, because we are educated, we are able to control our boys. We are able to fight for ourselves. We are able to defend ourselves. This morning, when I sat back, I was listening to them. I said, I wish I'm a small girl to start life. So you are very, very fortunate to get this opportunity today. If some of us had this opportunity, I think the sky will be the beginning of our lives. Yes, many a times when I meet girls, I tell them, when I hear people saying, the sky is your limit, the sky is my limit, I tell them, you don't know what you are saying. For me, the sky is the beginning. Because I feel I can do it, and I can do it better. All that we heard today, one thing that came across, assertiveness, confidence, love for yourself. If you love yourself, you do good things to yourself. You will not allow yourself to be abused. You will not misuse yourself. And you always have big dreams. As I'm standing here, the things I'm looking forward to, if I tell you, you will shout. Because I'm not satisfied. Some of us grew up in a very aggressive environment, but we were able to make it. And for me as an individual, most of my friends are males, even as I'm standing here. I started, and my parents at times would beat me because we are playing with boys, you are doing this, but that is my area. When I started growing up, I like boys so much. Do you know why? Because I learned from them. Moving with boys doesn't mean that, I always tell girls, if you are put in a desk, one boy, one girl, doesn't mean that they have tied the knot for you. You are there to learn from each other. So many of our speakers, today, what I learned is what? Commitment, dedication, and also feeling strong. Thinking about good things for yourself first. As for the men, they are there. Marriage is good. If somebody tells you marriage is not good, the person is deceiving you. But we marry at the right time. When you are well equipped and you marry, you enjoy marriage. When I married as a young lady teacher, I told my husband, this is how I am, this is what I do, this is what I like. So if you love me, let's move on. And at times, you see, he will come home and people will tell him, hey, as for this, your wife, the way is, are you able to control her? Are you able to control me how? And he tells them, that is my wife. You see, when you are confident in yourself, and you are well equipped, you are well informed, you can enjoy life. Marriage doesn't mean that if I marry, I should be a slave. It is only when you are not well equipped that you become a slave. I don't want to repeat what they have said. Then I also learned determination. As students, that is very, very important to us. We must be determined. When I tell people I started teaching at the age of 18, they shout. And it's a fact. As at the time I went to training college, I didn't know I would be a teacher because it was my teacher who asked me to write a certain exam. He bought forms, he said, fill the form. We were 3 girls and I was the only person who passed. I went to training college before I got to know I would be a teacher. And ever since, I am determined to reach where I want to reach. So girls, you are very fortunate to have this opportunity. And when you go back, you are here as ambassadors. Don't keep what you have learned to yourselves. The WhatsApping, I'll be very glad if you WhatsApp. Hey, we learned this. Today, this is what we learned. It will be better for you. I know if I ask you, tell me the titles of the Nigerian films, you can tell me all. But these things will not help us. When you get opportunities like this, make good use of them. Then to my teachers, I just want to thank you and congratulate you for the good work you are doing. We know these days things are difficult, but we can't complain. But some of us feel the joy when we achieve our aims. Tomorrow, when you see these young girls in positions, you will feel proud that, hey, I was part of the success of this lady. And I'll be the last person to say that your reward is in heaven. Where is the heaven? The heaven is here. And you get the reward here. So teachers, please, I just want to plead with you that support our girls. We are not leaving the boys out, because if we reach that height and the boys are below us, we cannot get good husbands. We just want equal opportunities. So when the boys are writing, WhatsApping the love letters, always reply, no, let's wait. So my teachers, especially the male teachers, some of you are doing well and some are also a barrier to girls' education. So the male teachers among us, you are also ambassadors. What you've seen and heard here today, when you go back, preach it to your male teachers and also support them to overcome those challenges. We have a long way to travel this afternoon, so I will leave it here. I want to use this opportunity to thank all the role models. In fact, this is the first of its kind. We have been doing role models outreach, but we only invite 1-2 people and we do it in a small way. But we are fortunate through Dr. Anda to have it on a big scale this year. That is why I am so enthused about the whole program. And I want to thank you all, thank the role models that this shouldn't be the end. We want more of this. Girls' education unit, we need more. You tell your friends that they should come and then support the girls' education. Not just the role model outreach. We have so many activities we do so that our girls will also grow, because we are growing older. They will take over from us. We don't want a situation where there will be a gap when we are no more. Let us groom them to take over. Thank you, and God bless us all.
We are going to have a message of gratitude from the head girl. The name is Portia Senade. Portia Senade.
Good afternoon. Officers from the Regional Education Directorate, members of Memphis Foundation, teachers, students, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it a great privilege to be given this opportunity to give the vote of thanks for this august occasion. My foremost gratitude goes to God Almighty for making this occasion a successful one. I wish to thank Dr. Bettina Bohine Anda for taking time off to be here with us today. To our great speakers, I say Aiko, for unveiling to us the necessities and the importance of girl education. All dignitaries present, my dear teachers, thank you very much. To every other person who has endeavored to be present here today, we say a big thanks to you, and God bless us all. Thank you.
My name is Kuntin Elizabeth from English Unama from Senior High. I learned that we should be confident in all what we do, and we should always pray to God for everything we want to do. And I would like to tell my friends from near and afar that they should always be confident and always pray to God, but only God Almighty can help them through whatever they want to do. And I would like to tell Memphis that God should continue blessing them for the good thing they've done to us. Thank you.
I am Ivona Aguadote, the Assistant Girls Prefect of Laboni Senior High. I am really grateful to the Memphis Foundation for the program held. It has helped to educate us and the girls. I'm sure this message that has been given to us will be spread to other schools and other girls who didn't or weren't able to attend the program. I learned so many things from this program, some of which are we should venture into areas where opportunities exist, we should take responsibility of our lives, and so many others. I am really grateful to the Memphis Foundation for the program held. I say thank you very much, and I hope they'll move to other schools and spread all the things they've said to us so to change the lives of the girls out there. Thank you very much.
Zidane Francisca is my name, from Ashaiman Senior High School. I thank this board so much for organizing this program, and what I would say to them is that Ayiko and that God bless them. And what I have learned so far is that the sky shouldn't be our limit, as people always say that the sky is our limit. I thank this board so much for such a program. And what I would tell the world or my friends out there is that they shouldn't say the sky is their limit, but always try to do more and more. Determination to be their goal. Thank you.
I'm in person of Irene Nani from Adan Senior High. I've come to this program and I've learned a lot. One of the things that I've learned was to be self-confident, to be determined, and to dream on that whatsoever dream that I've set on, I should dream and work hard towards it, so that at the end of the day I'll become the better woman that I want to become. And I want to thank the Menfrey very much for bringing such program, so that by the end of the day, we young women or we young ambassadors like us who will be determined and work towards and work hard, so that at the end of it all, we'll achieve what we want to do. So I thank them very, very much for such a program. Thank you.
Oh, in fact, my expectation is very high. With what we have seen, the quality of role models we have seen today, it is my hope that these girls will be a change and a role model for their peers. So we are looking forward that when we go around the whole country, at least we will have good results. We will see confident girls who are assertive, and girls who will be independent in future. Pardon me?
In your final words, what message you have for Memphis?
Okay, Memphis, this is the first of its kind. And I'm very, very happy and I'm very grateful to them, because normally the girls' education units usually organize, what do you call it? The outreach programs, but we normally do it on a very small scale. Sometimes we invite one or two people to do it in a school or for few girls, but Memphis is going all out in the whole country. So we are very grateful to them. And like Oliver Twist, for girls' education, I always say that it is not a one-shot program. Once you give birth to girls, we still have girls' problems and challenges. So we pray that Memphis will get the necessary support to collaborate with the girls' education unit. That is my message to them. And I pray that as time goes on, we can vary the activities. Thank you.